Here's a live look at Belleville this morning, where it will be hot this weekend, folks. I'm talking scorching hot, too hot. The heat comes on the heels of some rather rough weather that hit the bi-state. You were probably hit by some form of rain and wind. This is video taken from Freeburg yesterday afternoon. The area is just south of Belleville. You can see sheets of water falling from the sky. This morning, people on both sides of the river will be cleaning up the damage. The storm downed trees, caused some flash flooding, and knocked out power to nearly 20,000 people. Good Thursday morning, everybody, and welcome back to the day in St. Louis. And Allie, I tell you something, having that power out comes at the wrong time with it being so hot these days.
Oh, you're not kidding. And I think people are still waking up without power this morning. So, Anthony, the question this morning is, what is it going to be like for today?
Well, nothing like what we saw yesterday. In fact, seen lots of images of storm damage, trees down, even trees getting struck by lightning. This image comes in from Stephanie, and you can see the corn here right on the leading edge in Belleville, all lying the same direction on its side. That is a good indication that we had something known as straight line winds. Sometimes you see this and think there was a tornado. Notice how all the corn stalks are facing the same direction. That is how you know it was not a tornado. 69 degrees right now, dew point at 65, so it is warm and muggy, but you know what? We're gonna lose the humidity on the back end of a cold front today, and that means temperatures not so hot. We'll talk about the week ahead and get you into the weekend. We're almost there. 90s are set to return. All of that coming up in that full forecast. Allie, back to you.
Well, that's some thunder booming over Glendale and lighting up the sky. It was all part of the storm system that moved through the bi-state, and it really left a path of destruction behind. Our Ryan Henson is outside a North County gas station that has a lot of cleaning up to do this morning. And Ryan, thousands of people in the bi-state are still without power this morning. Good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning. More than 10,000. But good news is when I was coming into work this morning, I saw several trucks in neighborhood in the Berkeley area. I had to cut through there to get over here to Woodson Terrace this morning. Out and about trying to get power back on. But, you know, we've all been to a 7-Eleven, right? The roof's supposed to be over the gas pump, not over there in the corner in pieces. That's how strong that storm was yesterday that blew through our area. Here's some more images of that. You know, a lot of people still without power this morning. Hopefully they're waking up on time as the sun's starting to rise up here. That storm knocked limbs down, knocked power out. Winds were very strong. Some neighbors in the Alton area too even saw this storm blow through their area, cause a lot of havoc. Here's one neighbor who says she thought it was going to be a very, very bad situation.
I ran down the basement steps and I just kind of crunched up on the basement floor next to my chimney and prayed really hard.
And so we saw a lot of damage to cars and homes and things like that, but thankfully not too many reports of any bad injuries. That's the good news this morning. Now Monica is going to tell us about the roads. I know a lot of them had limbs and things laying on them, so hopefully the cleanup effort has been progressed so far this morning.
Absolutely, Ryan. Yeah, that's one of the biggest things that we're warning you is to drive alert, because if you're heading out of your neighborhood, you may encounter and have to swerve around some tree limbs, and maybe if it was trash day, getting around that as well. We're looking at a couple of accidents that have been worked. 170, it is still there this morning, heading northbound, traveling near Natural Bridge. It's over there in the right shoulder and right lane. The good news, that 270 northbound crash is out of the way right before Manchester, and then watch out for some delays with the construction here east and westbound 270 at New Halls Ferry.
We're waking up following another night of gunfire in the city. St. Louis police are investigating a triple shooting in North St. Louis. That tops our morning rush. Officers found 3 men shot in the 4,000 block of Dressel near the city's border with Pine Lawn. The men were taken to the hospital. There's no update on their conditions and no word on any suspects or on a motive. Here's a live look at Jefferson City, where 2 employees in the Missouri House of Representatives tested positive for COVID-19. The employees are now in self-quarantine at home. However, there is still concern that they could have spread the virus to others in the Capitol building before they got tested. Just hours from now, city leaders are holding a news conference to discuss Medicaid expansion in Missouri. The measure is up for vote on August 4th. It would expand eligibility to an estimated 230,000 additional adults who live below the poverty level. The news conference begins at 10:30 this morning at the Ferguson Community Empowerment Center.
Our numbers are not only trending in the wrong direction, they're trending in a concerning direction. And we should all be concerned. for the health and safety not only of ourselves, but for our loved ones, our friends, and our neighbors.
Troubling words from the leader of the Metropolitan Pandemic Task Force, who is warning us this morning, act now to curb the uptick in new cases or risk another shutdown. Our Savannah Louie is live for us downtown this morning. And Savannah, a lot of people are wondering if Missouri is going to start to roll back restrictions. Good morning.
Yeah. Hey, Allie. I mean, it's one of those things no one wants to go backward, but it is a very real concern. We do know that Mayor Lyda Krewson is discussing the possibility of rolling back some of those reopening guidelines. Now, I don't want to bog you down with any numbers this morning, but I do want you to know that those numbers are heading in the wrong direction. This means that we could see less people allowed in restaurants and gyms, group gatherings limited again, and tight restrictions on reopening schools and youth sports. As cases rise across the country, states like California and Texas have stopped their reopening process and put restrictions back into place. Now here in St. Louis, if we continue to see cases and hospital admissions rise, well, we could follow in their footsteps.
There's very few levers to pull outside of then pulling back on those societal restrictions, such as limiting capacities and rolling back how many people can gather. And of course, the most dramatic would be another shelter in place.
Now, I do want to give you guys some good news this morning. If we do act quickly and if we act now, we do have the power to change some of that hospitalization data. So as we go forward, just continue to keep social distancing and wearing a mask if necessary. Reporting live from St. Louis, Savannah Louie, 5 on your side.
Savannah, thanks. Now, as the number of new cases rise, St. Louis County is looking at whether recreational sports could be to blame.
We know that gatherings of young people and adults around youth sports are the primary source of spread in the community, youth and adult sports.
So now the county is looking at sports guidelines to see if they need to make adjustments or even rollbacks. County Executive Sam Page says he will announce any changes tomorrow.
Weight gain is always an issue for children in the summertime, but now the pandemic has doubled the time that kids have been out of class, and some doctors are concerned for their health. The weight gain is a result of less structure and physical activity. Black and Hispanic households are affected the most. Children are typically low risk for COVID-19, but that's not the case for overweight or obese kids.
Wearing a mask in public and practicing social distancing and washing your hands, those are all, great things to help slow the spread of the virus. But if we're not taking care of ourselves and taking care of our health, then we're still keeping ourselves at risk to getting the virus and being susceptible to the complications.
Experts recommend more group activities at home, like taking family walks to encourage a healthier lifestyle.
All right, comfortable conditions for the morning hours. Turning a little bit hotter this afternoon, but no 90s today because of all the clouds we have this morning. Yeah, slink the clouds. We will talk about sunshine and hotter days ahead coming up in that full forecast.
And Anthony, when it's hot, we all love to cool down inside with the AC blasting, but not so fast. Why those devices can help spread coronavirus.
And back to school, but not without your signature. The district requiring parents to sign a COVID waiver. 5 on Your Side is teaming up with the 9 Network and St. Louis Public Radio to host an hour-long St. Louis County Executive Democratic primary debate. Dr. Sam Page will face other candidates, Jake Zimmerman, Mark Montavani, and Jamie Tolliver. That debate is set for July 22nd at 7 o'clock. You can text your questions for the candidates to answer to 314-444-5125.